Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today, doing a chats from the truck, but I'm also going to give you guys a look at what's in my pocket. So, you knife guys that only care about knife stuff and don't want to go into the chats from the truck angle, I can give you a pocket dump and some quick overview of thoughts. If I can ever get to this freaking thing. First and foremost, Gerber pry bar. It's the only one that I've had, but it's the only one I found with a Phillips head on it, so loving it. The Olight 3, this was sent in by Jake, loving it. My Best Tech Swordfish, still loving it, so excited to carry this thing. This thing's awesome. The only thing that I've noticed that kind of irritated me is this pocket clip. Maybe it was the positioning, maybe it was just some freak accident, but I'm walking in and out of my back door and we got these like, they're not like drapes, what are they? They're those little magnetic things that act as a screen door, but it's not a screen door. Well, it caught on that and bent this out pretty good. I was able to bring it back, but I was like, that's never happened. Either coincidence, sheer unluck, or whatever. Second is the Kershaw bare knuckle. The detent is still stupid, wicked strong on this guy. One thing I did find though, because the detent is so strong, I reposition my hands to flick it, and I end up being semi on the lock bar because it's so strong. So yes, a lot of it was me, but I would still say the majority, like I'm not touching the lock bar right now, and it's still extremely strong. That being said, this got overshadowed in the unboxing, and it shouldn't have. If I can figure out how to lightly adjust that detent, I'll take it apart, maybe make a slight tweak. This thing is, wow. The hype that you see from most reviewers on the bare knuckle is absolutely founded. Like, it's awesome. Last but not least, the concept, I call it concept, it's more fun. I know it's concept. Hell X. It's not the Helix, it is the Hell X. I talked to a guy made a comment on the video, and also I looked it up on Concept Knives after the unboxing. It is definitely the Hell X. Now, when I first opened it up, I was like, this is my end-all be-all knife, this is my forever knife, this is everything. I still feel very, very strongly about this. But I think the unexpectedly large Praxis-esque, and Justin brought up that point, it looks very close to the Praxis, like, nothing like the Praxis, but a lot like the Praxis in the same right. But yeah, this thing is awesome, absolutely awesome. The detent's a little weak, and I'm sure that has to do with how big the blade is. You probably don't want a super huge blade with a super strong detent, because I can flip it open, but the blade is just extraordinarily large. Once again, to put that in perspective, you guys that know the Swordfish, this is how big the Swordfish is. It's huge. It's a huge freaking knife. And then look how big the Hell X is. Insane. So I'm carrying these. I'm probably not carrying them all today, but I am carrying them with me to work because I don't know which ones I want to carry. These are my next on my list to review. I have a couple more. I'm just really excited about these, so I'm skipping those. And yeah. So that is my morning pocket dump. I will be doing a chats in the truck. I'm going to call it a paintball edition. I'm going to tell paintball stories. Story of arrogance, stories of humility, stories of suck, you know. So, stay tuned for that, but I am not, I'm going to shut off the video now so that you guys can so you guys can actually hear me, because when I'm going 70 miles down the road, it's hard to hear. I've listened to the videos before I get it. So, catch you guys in a bit. Alright, welcome back. So today's theme is paintball stories. As I said, there's some arrogant stories in there from myself. I am not excluded from being arrogant at times. There's some embarrassing stories by myself. Yeah, and then there's some what I will call heroic, which may be interpreted as arrogant, but we'll see when it gets there. The first story, we'll start off with a bang. Give you guys a little bit of backstory. Those of you that paintball, and that's my knife clicking in the background, by the way. Flipping the Best Tech Swordfish. So, those of you that paintball, you guys may know or may not know, but those of you that play competition paintball, as in like tournament speedball, hyperball, all that stuff. I don't even know what they call it anymore. This was probably 10, 12 years ago. I'm sure it's still hyperball or X-ball, whatever we want to say. The biggest taboo and elephant in the game. It's a weird way to start this out, right? Cheating. Cheating, cheating, cheating. Motherfuckers cheat. Excuse the language. I shouldn't have said that because I'm catching a lot of flack from my mouth. But we cheat. Now, there's some of us that don't. And then there's others of us that do and get caught all the time. And then there's some of us that are just like better at cheating than they are at the freaking game. So I tell that portion of it, and people may judge that for all they want. If you're inside of that community, you will know what I'm talking about. It's almost part of the game. Like, if you get caught doing it, like, okay, you get penalized. If you don't get caught, you basically won that little portion of the game. So I'm not saying that I agree with it, because I don't, but I have been guilty of it once before. Only once out of all the times that I played. We were playing at Fox River, I think it was. And we were playing against a team called, I think it was the Devil Dogs, and we hated them. That was like their home turf. These guys thought they were just like the best, but they were notorious cheaters. In the community, we just knew that they were just awesome at cheating. So you had to make it apparent, and you had to get a paint check right away. Second game I'm playing against these guys, right off the break, I caught a singular paintball square dead center in the chest. Like, I made it 2 steps off of the freaking line, and I got a paintball right in my chest. And I'm like, what the? But everything's happening so fast. These games are over in 2.5, 3 minutes anyways. So, you know, this is a split-second decision. So I get shot in the chest, and then your natural instinct, and I was a front guy anyway, so my natural instinct is I get shot in the chest. So what do? I do a Superman dive into the ground, and you make it floppy, like you throw it down like you missed your dive, and you kind of like, it was a little uncoordinated. So I do a Superman dive, kind of bounce off the ground, and you pop right back up, and the paint was gone. I didn't check to see if it bust when it hit me. I'm assuming it did, but it was not there when I was done. So that's the only cheater story, but I tell that little clip to talk about the next moment. I was playing the same team. I was the second to last guy alive on our team in the front, and I ended up getting up. I bunkered the guy right in front of me, and I took his bunker. Well, in the process, after I shot the guy kind of reared back and shot me in the face, and I'm like, you know, I did a 1-for-1. I took myself out of the game. Everybody on the sidelines was pissed. My team was pissed. The refs were like, I don't know what's going on. Because I shot this guy probably 2-3 seconds before he was able to even turn and shoot me. It was very clear that I won that exchange, and the shot that he shot me shouldn't have taken me out. But as karma would have it, I didn't think about it, and I got up and took myself out. Well, what did that do? We ended up taking third in that tournament, because that game was kind of the linchpin game, and the position that I took, I had clear shots and very covered shots on the rest of their team. I was probably at their 30, so think of it as a football field. You got your 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 40, 30, 50, 20, 10. And that's how you call your bunkers out. And I had a shot on their 50 because I was on their 30, and I had the shot on their back 10. So we ended up taking third in that tournament because of that. So that's kind of like a quick karma story for you guys. I wouldn't call it karma because I self-imposed both of them. But, you know, yeah, it is what it is. So the arrogant story came in, and I forgot the details of the arrogant story. But let's just, you know, we fast forward. That same tournament, I was young. Guys, I was like 17. I don't remember what happened in the game. Oh, it was another person cheating. So I blatantly watched this guy get tagged in the hopper, go back into his bunker, come out clean. Get tagged in the hopper again, go back into his bunker, come out clean. Get tagged in the hopper again, and go back in his bunker and come out clean. So if you guys played paintball and you're younger when you played especially, you get that adrenaline spike with this irrational, just like, I am 15 foot tall and nobody can mess with me. But the problem is everybody has that when you're playing. So basically what happened is I got so frustrated, I stood up middle of the field, ran out, and I shot this dude like 6-7 times in the back. Like, and I got taken out by their back guy, but I took him out in the process and let him know. And I stopped, and I'm still getting hit because I'm standing in the middle of the field, and I'm like, now you're finally freaking out. Get the F off the field, right? So, you know, I got probably shot 20 times that game. And we're walking out, and at the end of the game, I'll never forget it. Like, I threw my stuff down, and my team was probably... It was kind of funny because I had a lawyer on my team, I had a psychologist, I had a plumber. It was kind of cool because it was a conglomerate of people. I had 2 EMTs, and I threw my stuff down and just started sprinting at where they had all their stuff set up. And I got there about 10 seconds before the rest of my team. And I just remember shoving one dude into the car, and like, it was just this flurry of just adrenaline and testosterone that was just obnoxious. Kind of embarrassing to retell the story. But my team ended up coming up behind me pretty quick just to make sure nothing crazy happened. But I will never forget the look on the dude's face that was like the blatant cheater, which is kind of hypocritical because, like I just said, I told a story about cheating in the same tournament. And I guess there's weird subsets of cheating when you talk about it, because it's the things like getting shot in the chest and diving. I'm not saying that's acceptable, nor should it be. But it's one of those that, you know, somebody caught you with like this arbitrary, you know, they tried to lay a lane down and you just got caught. You know, how do you get shot in the center of the chest? Like, it doesn't happen, because when you're sprinting, you're hunkered down and I don't know how it happened. So there's things like that happen that are arbitrary, and, you know, you can call them less skillful, even though I wouldn't. I don't know what I would call them. But when you get the blatant, like when you physically know that you shot somebody, they wipe it off, and then you shot them again, and they wipe it off, and you shot them again, and they wipe it off, like, and the ref's just watching because it's their home field, it just drives you nuts. Now, I've been in probably countless tournaments, played in probably 200 hours of straight gameplay, not including what you do like on the side. And 200 hours may not sound like a lot, but when you consider your games are lasting 2 to 5 minutes long in a speedball match, we have a lot of gameplay plus probably 2,000 hours of practice time and everything. So, you know, anyways. So that's kind of the arrogant story. I remember running over there. I was a 17-year-old kid, 150 pounds, and I'm running at these guys, a lot of them over 200 pounds, but you just feel so just jacked up. Like, nobody's going to touch me. I got this. No, I would have got wrecked. But the way the adrenaline and testosterone make you feel in that game is insane. All right, so that's the arrogant story. Let's go into the heroic story, and we'll end with a funny one. And I call this heroic, but this may be interpreted as arrogant too. I would go to different fields with a couple of my buddies, and we just play. You know, it's when you're not practicing and you just want to have fun, you just sit there and you go play. Well, I used to feel, and I still do, I would feel bad, because when you play in an open game, you're playing with kids, you're playing with dads, you're playing with people who don't play like you do. They don't have that 2,000 hours of practice time. They don't even know, like, you tell somebody you can dodge a paintball and they look at you like you're freaking crazy and living in the Matrix, you know, which kind of tails into the story, but you can, and it's a reflex. It's just like dodging a punch, you know, when you're a boxer, like you get these reflexes where you can slip and you can dodge, and it becomes so second nature that it's like, it's kind of insane when you think about it. So I preface it with that to say, when I'm playing in the open group with kids, especially when I would go play the speedball fields, because a lot of times they would have like 3 speedball fields and like 4 giant woods fields or something like that. The giant woods fields I didn't, but the speedball fields I definitely would, because kids aren't used to that fast play. You want kids to have fun, and you want them to be there and just enjoy themselves. So I would enter in those matches without a gun, without a marker, if you will. And the reason I would do that is because to me it's not fair to go in there as somebody with 2,000 hours of practice time and just shoot a little kid. Like, that's not cool. So I would stand in the back bunker. I would try to distract people. I would like kind of do stupid stuff, have fun with it. But in the back bunker, I was also calling out, hey, 50's hot, center 50's hot, back right Dorito, whatever. And I'm calling out these calls for the team. Well, I always played the sidelines. I'm a guy that always has to have my back to the tape because I don't have to worry about the left side of me. I only care about the right side, or vice versa. I was the snake guy for our team. So I'm sitting in the back bunker. It's the back left side of the field. There's this little kid, couldn't have been older than 10, in front of me, just hunched over, and he's getting lit up. He's not getting hit, but it's going all around him. He's scared to move. And I think it was his dad that was in front of him, and his dad just gets lit. Like, dude's gone in like 10 seconds. So as his dad's walking off the field, I go, hey! And he looks at me, he's like, what? And I'm like, hey, give me your gun. And he goes, what? Because nobody expects you to be out there without a marker, You're like, okay. So I'm like, dude, give me your marker. So he had a Tippmann 98 Custom, my favorite, just solid gun. And you don't use it in a tournament. It's not tournament quality, but god dang it, you could take that thing and beat it against a tree and it would still work. So I take his gun, and I'm watching the rope of paint. We called it a rope because it's just a steady stream of paint falling over this kid's bunker. And I pop off like 3 to 5 shots at the guy shooting over the guy's bunker, over the kid's bunker. Take off running. I see the rope of paint still coming. I jump over the rope of paint, Superman dive into the bunker, and then immediately get up to their 30 or 20 because that left side was pretty open. They were hitting it from the right side. That game, I swept their whole team afterwards. Like, I came behind them, I shot out their 3 back guys, shot out all their mid guys. I think there was one guy in the front on the opposite side of the field that our other guys took out once we took out their support. And I made it all the way around, wiped out their whole team. And then I'm sitting there, I look back for the kid. You guys were... I look back to make sure the kid's still in. That was my mission, and I didn't care about the game. I felt bad for the kid. I look up, and I'm looking over at the kid, and I point at him, I'm like, you good? I'm not kidding, you guys. This dude pulls his marker up and shoots me in the chest twice. The game was already over. This dude just, the little 10-year-old kid just pop. And I'm like, okay. I'm on your team, buddy. And he's like, but his nerves are so rattled, You're like, what the? And I'll never forget that moment. A, it felt heroic. B, the ending was kind of funny. Like the fact that the kid I saved is the one that shot me in the chest twice. Pretty obnoxious. But yeah, so once again, maybe an arrogant story because it's like I'm the hero. But if you're realistic with yourself and your abilities, I don't consider it arrogance. It's more of a confidence on that level. Take that for what you will. On the paintball field, I'm a totally different person. I'm very, very, very arrogant. Even if I haven't played in 5 years, oh man, your mouth just runs left and right. I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm going to tell the last 2 funny stories, and then if I have time to tell, I have another story where I went toe-to-toe with the pro player, and we went 2 games in a row toe-to-toe, and in the middle of an open group, but I've made him my point of interest, but I don't think I'll have time to tell that story. So I used to hang out with this Baptist youth group. I am not Baptist, nor am I religious, but it was kind of something for my buddy and I to do. The youth minister was actually a rollerblader, so we used to bring like rail and stuff, and before youth class and everything, we'd go rollerblading in the parking lot. It was pretty cool. But I was also a relatively average athlete, and amongst them, once again, due to the group of people, I was an above average athlete, and that feeling makes you feel good. So as a 15, 16-year-old kid, you enjoy doing that quite a bit. So they had a paintball outing, Well, I made it a point we would still play, and I wouldn't try to push myself to, like, do what I would do when I'm practicing or in tournaments, but, I mean, it's still instinctually, I mean, your level's above the people that go once a year, once every 2 years. It's just like anything else. Well, I happen to have a crush on this girl that also was in the youth group class, and she was also very, very, very religious. Is this guy turning in front of me? What are you doing? Yeah, okay. She was also very, very, very religious, so I didn't stand a chance in the first place. But, so I had a crush on her. And not to mention, I worked at the field that we were playing at. I used to work at Badlands in Crete, Illinois, for a short period of time. But, there's a field in the back. I think it's called The Hill. And it's a huge, huge, huge woods ball field. And, I would just take my time. Like, off the break, I would never sprint when I'm playing an open group. I would just kind of walk to where I'm going, especially in those big fields, because when you're playing with people that just want to have fun, the last thing you want to do is sprint to their freaking side of the field before anybody knows you're there and then just start shooting them, because that's no fun for anybody. So I'm standing in the back corner by myself, just kind of looking, hanging out. Nobody's around me. Well, all of a sudden the urge hits me and I have to take a leak. And once again, you're kind of arrogant. You're a dude in the woods. There's nobody around you. I was like, whatever. So I turned around to the other tree, make sure nobody's going to shoot me in the right butt cheek, and started taking a leak. Well, in the background I hear, oh my gosh! And no joke, the girl that I had a crush on, extremely religious, is sitting 10 feet behind me, behind this log that I don't know why you're even there for, because I can't judge them because they're not paintballers, but at the same time you're like, what the hell, like, there's nobody here. Like, where you're at right now, there's nobody. So, here, 1 second. Got a piece of scrap. Shred my tires with that. So once again, there's like nobody here, and you're like, why the frick are you sitting back here while I'm trying to take a leak? Like, I'm blaming her for me being the asshole that tries to take a leak on the field, right? But yeah. So if I didn't have a chance with her before then, I definitely didn't have a chance with her after that. Oh, it wouldn't have been a huge deal, but remember, I'm on a freaking religious outing. Like, this is like a religious group of people, so everything you do, you have to, like, be mindful of. And to put a cap on it all, later on, we were on opposite teams, and I had a moment where she was in a bunker, like, adjacent to me. There's 2 bunkers like this. I was, say, back here. She was back here. And I just remember popping out, and I see her, and she's wide open. And I'm like, So then you play that thing in your mind. I have a crush on her. Do I try to play the field where, like, I let her shoot me and then I look like a good guy? No, competitive edge got the best of me. and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh no. And I close my eyes and I said, whatever happens, happens. And I pop out and I hit 1, 2, 3. And then I pop back in. It's called a snapshot. Da-da-da. Right? All I hear is like this piercing, no joke. I hit the chick with every one of those. And, yeah. So, the long story short there, I didn't get the girl. Nope. Yeah. Alright, guys. So that is my chats from the truck for this Monday. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Happy freaking Monday. Have a great day, guys.